Hey folks, welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. I am your host, Lewis Carlin. Thanks for joining me today. There's a big question out there that I'd like to discuss. And the question is, who in the hell is going to dethrone Jacob Fatu for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship? Who in the hell is out there that can dethrone the amazingly talented Jacob Fatu? The guy is just incredibly talented, and he's a monster in the ring. And you gotta think, I'm looking at the MLW roster, and I have a few names in mind that might be able to dethrone him, but I don't know. It's gonna be tough. But let's go over some names. Well, the first name that comes to mind, of course, is Alexander Hammerstone, the national openweight champion. He pushing for a title shot with Jacob Fatu, was attacked by Mads Kruger. And he's got a little thing going on now with Mads Kruger. Mads Kruger injured him, and Alex Hammerstone wants to confront Kruger. But Hammerstone ultimately wants a shot at the title. He ultimately wants a shot at Jacob Fatu. And I am certain that we're going to see Jacob Fatu defending against Alexander Hammerstone. I would imagine that the next title defense for Fatu would be against Hammerstone. And that's going to be a great match. So Hammerstone has an opportunity. He's one of the guys that I'm thinking that might have an opportunity to dethrone Jacob Fatu. The second guy that I'm thinking is Low Ki. Low Ki is giving up a lot of weight, a lot of size to Jacob Fatu, but Low Ki, former champion, Low Ki has what it takes to regain that title, and he's probably going to win the Opera Cup now. I picked Richard Holiday, but Low Ki is most likely going to win the Opera Cup now, either him or Tom Lawler. And Low Ki wins the Opera Cup. He could use that to try to get a title shot against Jacob Fatu. I think that would be a great match. So Low Ki is another guy that I think has a shot at dethroning Jacob Fatu. And of course, you got to think the rarefied air, Dynastic Coffee, Richard Holiday. Richard Holiday, I think, would make an incredible MLW heavyweight champion. And to get there, he would have to defeat Jacob Fatu. I think Richard Holiday, as champion, most marketable. I think he would be an absolute fantastic MLW champion. He's just incredibly talented. He just has the look, and I think he has a good shot at dethroning Jacob Fatu for the MLW Heavyweight Championship. And then you think, who else is out there? Laredo Kid, possibly. Jordan Oliver is out there. You have La Park Jr. You have ACH, who's on board right now. And then you have a guy who's coming back, Perot. Perot has the size. He probably he's bigger than Jacob Fatu. And he's just as, or if not stronger than Jacob Fatu. And I think if the two mixed it up in the ring, I think Perot and Jacob Fatu would have a tremendous, tremendous match for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship. Then, of course, there's always Tom Lawler. La Park is out there. Then you got to think of the Von Erichs. Ross Von Erich and Marshall Von Erich. I know Kevin Von Erich, their dad, extremely, extremely successful as a singles wrestler. I know they're the tag team champions right now, but I think each of them have the opportunity to make a decent MLW heavyweight champion. But of course, to get there, they would have to defeat the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. So I mentioned a number of names. And you gotta think, do any of them realistically have a shot at defeating Jacob Fatu? Well, as is professional wrestling, of course, I would have a shot. I could be booked to defeat Jacob Fatu. But when you think of who is the best person to represent MLW as their World Heavyweight Champion, I think right now Jacob Fatu is that best option. I'm thinking if anyone is going to defeat him, I would pick Richard Holiday. I think Richard Holiday would be, as I said earlier, a tremendous champion. He would be a good representative. He would be a heel champion, of course. You would have baby faces chasing after him. But I think Jacob Fatu is also a heel. But I think Richard Holiday would be a great champion. And I think if it came down to Jacob Fatu or Richard Holiday, I can't recall if they've had a match for the title in the past. They might have, and I'm forgetting about it. And if I did, I apologize. But if I'm going to pick one person, oh, let's not forget, before I go into that, there's also Myron Reed. Myron Reed, the world middleweight champion. I'm looking at the roster now. I skipped over Myron Reed. I apologize. Myron Reed, actually one of my favorite wrestlers. Tremendously talented. He has a huge match coming up against Leo Rush, and I just can't wait for that one. I think Myron Reed is going to defeat Leo Rush. But Myron Reed would also be a great pick to be the MLW World Heavyweight Champion. He is a middleweight. He is like an X Division champion. Oops, I'm sorry. That's Impact Wrestling. He's not an X Division. He's not an X Division champion. He's like an X Division type wrestler, I should say. He's the world middleweight champion, the MLW middleweight champion, not the X Division champion. I apologize for that. Although if there's ever a crossover, Myron Reed will be a terrific X Division champion. But Myron Reed also would be a good pick to go after Jacob Fatu and the World Heavyweight Championship. But if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to stick with Richard Holiday. I would pick with Richard Holiday to be the one to dethrone Jacob Fatu for the World Heavyweight Championship. But that said, that would be my pick as the one to do it. Is he going to do it? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Jacob Fatu, as long as he's under contract with MLW, and I think it's 2 years left, I believe. I'm not certain. Don't quote me on that, but I think as long as Jacob Fatu is with MLW, I think it's a good bet that he is going to be the World Heavyweight Champion. Because right now, he is, in my opinion, the best wrestler on the roster. Sorry if anyone's listening on the roster and you get offended by that, but I don't think anybody's listening. But Jacob Fatu, in my opinion, is the best wrestler on the roster. And for him to be the World Heavyweight Champion, to say, yes, this is MLW and our champion is Jacob Fatu, is just fantastic. Just fantastic. And so I think Jacob Fatu is going to hold that title for another year or two. I don't think it's going to be taken off him. I think it's going to be on. It's going to remain on Jacob Fatu. And that's my opinion. If you have any other opinions on that, just please feel free to leave it in the comments and let me know what you think. But I think ultimately Jacob Fatu will be holding the MLW World Heavyweight Championship for a very, 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 very long time. All right, that said, I am out of here. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. This is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.